This is Truth Be Told.
Hey everyone, and welcome to our first quarantine edition of Truth Be Told. We're so happy you are joining us. And I am not alone. I have with me. Hey ladies.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
So I just want to ask you ladies, what has quarantine been like for you?
I'll go first. My life hasn't changed that much. I'm still working, so it hasn't really affected my normal routine, aside from I don't have the option to leave the house. Even though I never really left that often and went out and did stuff, I don't like that my option to go anywhere was taken away. But still working, same thing.
You know, a lot of my quarantine has been like this, where we're on like multi-camera setups on Zoom or whatever, trying to figure out like who talks, what's the etiquette here, don't pee with, trying to like instruct my parents and loved ones how to use this stuff. And yeah, it's really fun. It's what quarantine's been like for me.
I saw a video actually. Did you guys see that video with a woman who was trying to do the Zoom chat at work and meeting, and by accident she forgot to turn off the video and they all watched her go to the bathroom.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I did see that.
I was like, that would be me.
I'm mad no one told her.
Yeah, they just let her go.
That would be my worst nightmare.
Yeah.
And then someone posted it. I just want to point that out too. So I don't know about those coworkers.
Terrible coworkers.
Wow.
Well, what are you ladies drinking today? Anything? I'm drinking iced coffee.
I am
I'm drinking cold coffee.
I wish I was
Water?
drinking coffee. I'm drinking grapefruit, orange, and ginger juice.
Ooh, sounds
Nice.
amazing. Way cooler.
I'm jealous.
Well,
Okay, so Jen, how has quarantine been for you?
Quarantine has been, it's mostly been really good, actually. I am definitely an introvert by nature. I definitely need humans, don't get me wrong. This is like a lot of just me time, but like it came at a terrible price of like whatever's happening in the world. But my schedule was so busy before, and I just was like praying for a season of rest. And it's here, not in the way I would have like wanted it to come or really thought it would come here, but it's here. So I'm just trying to embrace it, and I'm definitely ready for a lot of to get back out there.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, people that are watching, don't forget to interact. We want to know how you've been during quarantine, so don't forget to comment below. And also let us know where you're watching from. I see Alex on. Shout out to Alex. Jennifer, I know my girl from New York is on. And so just continue. Oh, Anastasia just hopped on. So just comment below. Let us know where you're watching. And every question that we're talking about or things that we throw out, we want to hear from you guys. And we'd love to shout you out. So you are part of the show. You are our sixth co-host. So join in. All right. So ladies, I know a lot of people have been commenting about being bored, not knowing what to do in this time, trying to figure out how to stay active and keep their mind active too, right? So what are some things that you guys have been doing to entertain yourselves or stay busy or relax?
I kind of feel like quarantine looks different for two different groups of people. There's the people without children who are basically having a vacation from work and all this beautiful alone time, and they're reading books and they're doing whatever they want to do. And then you've got this whole group of people over here, myself included, who are stuck in a house with small little humans. And, the 5 minutes between, 9 and 9:05 before anyone wakes up again is just glorious that I get to myself. So I'm still working as well, but on top of my schedule, I am now homeschooling. And let's just say quarantine on this side of the fence isn't quite as relaxing. But,
my gosh.
we are surviving. So we are excited, I think, a lot of us, for the schools to go back, which is not happening actually this year, but yay for us.
So that's so wild. So you're homeschooling. What is that like? What does that look like? Are you teaching every subject, or like? I'm curious because I don't have any kids yet, so I'm just like, what does that look like?
Well, I'm kind of like fortunate in the fact that only 2 of my 3 kids are at school, and I have 1 in first grade and 1 in kindergarten. So I don't know how I'd survive if I had like 4 kids in school. And I know moms who have 4 kids in school and they're just all day homeschooling all 4. So kindergarten and first grade, it's pretty manageable. We're still at the basics at that age. And so 8:30 till 11:30 every single morning, we are in a makeshift classroom in our home. And we are learning. And sometimes the teacher loses her patience. But there have been some sweet moments in it. There's been some really frustrating moments too, and it makes you so thankful for teachers.
So what are some tips that you can give so what are some tips that you would give moms for, being at home and being a teacher and all the things?
Well, firstly, I will say I am not sure that I am killing it myself, but, we definitely notice the difference between getting our kids outdoors every day. And so we're really trying to focus in on getting the kids outdoors for a couple of hours, whether that's to go on a family bike ride or a walk. We have a dog, so it's a good excuse to do that. We've been fortunate that in our neighborhood, they've actually organized for some food trucks to come to our neighborhood. So we've walked up and got snow cones together, and so just some fun stuff like that. We went strawberry picking yesterday. So just getting the kids outside is really helping. But I will say they are having more screen time than they have ever had. And my one piece of advice was like, you just got to do what you got to do in this season. And it's okay. Yes.
Yeah,
lots
that's
of baking.
so real.
Yeah.
That's so real. Chris, what were you saying about a post?
Oh, no, I was just saying I love Renee. Renee had this Instagram post yesterday that was like, my kid's teacher is doing so well. I should buy her a gift. And then it was like, add to cart, like just saying, I'm buying myself a little teacher gift. It was really cute. I love that.
I have been rewarding myself.
Good. No, my sister, actually, she has 4 boys and they're up in Canada. So it's like just stopped being winter, and she homeschools them like all the time. So, like, she's chosen to homeschool them. And then you add like this aspect of isolation in where she could not get out anywhere. I have so much respect for my sister and everyone now who's like forced to homeschool. It wasn't even their choice. Like, I think it was give yourself grace. I'm a product of homeschooling, and the best thing my mom did was like, just be okay when things don't go to plan. And I wasn't a good homeschooling kid, but the second I got outside, I was way better. So that's true. Yeah. Very true.
Let's just say funny memes are keeping me going right now. I love them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, my favorite one so far has been the one where you first hear about like Corona and you're like, oh, that's funny. And then it's like this progression. Then you're like, oh, this is it now.
I heard this one the other day that I thought was so funny. It's our homeschooling isn't going so well so far. 2 of the students have been suspended for fighting, and the teacher got fired for drinking on the job.
That's awesome.
Like, yeah.
That's so funny. Jen, what about you?
So not homeschooling anybody, but my work transitioned to, obviously everyone's working from home. And so that was definitely a transition for me from being in the office, being around people, to now living alone, working alone. So I have it on my work schedule, like on my Outlook calendar every day at noon, to literally, like, I have to remind myself to get up and I go take like a long walk, get outside, get some exercise, get some fresh air, step away from, I leave my phone like here, and just kind of unplug, like fully unplug from everything for 30 minutes, 45 minutes. So that's definitely been helping keeping me sane, just getting outside of this apartment at least once a day. And
Yes.
kind of like making, like finding fun new recipes. I feel like saving the time on the commute that I have from the office has been freaking amazing. Like, yeah, you all know Austin traffic. So it's like, what am I going to do with this extra time? I have like a whole list of books that I'm trying to read instead of watching TV, and trying new recipes has been fun. So those are things that's keeping like my mind and body stimulated. And I definitely have moments like on the weekends where, you know, all day, like Saturday, it'll be 6 and I'm like, now what do I do? Like, I've really done it all. I've taken the walk. I've read some of the books. I've watched a show. I've sat on my balcony. I've made a recipe, and I'm like, oh my gosh! Like, I do miss social time.
Yeah.
Well, Oma, and I know she's upstate in New York. Hey, Oma. And she said that yes to Renee. She was saying yes. All the memes and TikTok has been keeping her busy and entertained. And Anastasia, hey, Anastasia. She said that she still works from home, but she feels like she has so much more time, and she's been reading and doing art projects. And they watch way more TV. Her and her husband watch way more TV than usual. Jennifer from New York, from Long Island, shout out to Long Island. She said she's been drawing more, which is awesome. Lots of cooking. People have been saying they've been doing well. And then Vanessa, hey Vanessa, she said she homeschools 3 kids, and lots of rest and family time. And she said she couldn't be more over the homeschool part. So
I'm with you, Vanessa.
Ryan is on from upstate New York. Hey, Ryan. Cool. So well, if you follow me on Instagram, you probably know this already, but if you don't, I'm pregnant, and I am 21 weeks pregnant today, which is exciting. And so honestly, it's been crazy. I've had quite a few moms reach out to me about being pregnant, like having children, and then looking back and being like, I couldn't imagine being pregnant in quarantine. And my experience throughout this quarantine time well, I work from home anyway, so that hasn't really changed. And I'm an introvert. I know you guys are probably going to, disagree with me on that, but I'm an introvert. So I've been really enjoying the alone time. But even me as an introvert, I've been like, get me out. Like, I need to hug somebody or touch somebody or something. Some hugs. But the interesting thing is going through the process of being pregnant and your body changing. And I'm a first-time mom, so it's really takes a toll on your body. And by the way, every mother out there, you guys are superheroes, because I don't know how you guys work and pregnant and all the things. Like, Kristen and I were talking, we're like, moms should have like maternity leave for the first trimester. And then like they can go back to work, and then they can have an extended paternity leave like in the 3rd trimester, because it is like so crazy. Like, the body is so wild and wonderful, and it's amazing. But honestly, I've been able to have more moments of rest than I would before. And I'm a super ambitious, like, gotta be doing things kind of person. So the quarantine has kind of helped me take some time to really rest and relax. And I've had to give myself grace for that, because I've been like, I should be doing more. But my body's like, no, girl, you need to just chill out and rest. And so I've just been really enjoying it. I know it sounds so weird, but it's it hasn't been as bad as maybe some people might think. The other aspect of it is maybe not being able to have a baby shower. That's a bummer. That is a huge bummer for me. It's kind of up in the air. So the thing that keeps me like encouraged in the whole process is that at the end of the day, I get the most amazing gift. I get an awesome kid that I've never met before. And like, so I just think of that, as like my thing at the end of the day. It's like, champagne problems, right? Like we're healthy, everything's healthy, we're in good health, thank God. And, my heart goes out to people who have lost someone during this time or is sick themselves. Like, my heart goes out to you, my prayers go out to you. And that's why it's like we really have to sometimes not look at all the things that we can't do and really be grateful for what we have,
Yeah. I definitely had a moment of vulnerability with my husband, and we were just like talking, and I was like, I'm just really disappointed. And now I'll cry. It's been a really disappointing year so far for me. Just vulnerability wise, like I lost my grandpa a few weeks ago, and then oh my God. My parents were supposed to come down next week, and so so I was just like being so brutally honest, and I was like, I'm just so disappointed. And it was like being able to actually vocalize that helped me process it even more instead of me holding it in and like kind of trying to like quarantine my emotions. I was just like, this sucks. This is really hard. It's not what I wanted 2020 to be. I had all these ideas of like what my summer would look like, and everything was kind of taken and was like, and so just kind of everything has been derailed for me. And I think if that's you, like, it's okay to not be okay. And that's what I just kept telling myself, I was like, it's okay. It's okay to feel frustrated and disappointed and fed up and even hurt that like this is happening to you in your life. And it's okay, but don't be feeling these things alone. Because even though we're in quarantine, that doesn't mean you have to disconnect from everything around you, especially connecting, because we have technology, we have face-to-face, even though we can't touch anyone and hug anyone. Like so that's kind of been what quarantine has also been for me. It's been like a big dumpage of frustrating disappointment. So
yeah, I kind of want to speak to that. I want to speak to that too, because I have a lot of friends who have been in these, like this season, like right before this, it kind of felt like they had momentum going in their lives, like they had things going on in their career or with, things they waited a long time for and finally happening, and then feeling like, oh my gosh, the brakes just got like totally stopped, right? Like, and so I just want to like encourage anyone who feels like that, and you too, January, like, I just really believe that like when there's things that are supposed to happen in your life and they're on your life, like they're going to happen. And like, no matter, and I know obviously it's different when you lose a loved one, like obviously, that's a totally different thing. And grief is totally something worth processing and taking the time to work through and have grace for yourself through. But like when it comes to opportunity, when it comes to like the picture in your head, obviously, right now the plan has changed, but just like for anyone who's feeling like, oh my gosh, the momentum is totally like the brakes are hit, like it will come again. You know what I mean? Like it's not a completely lost opportunity. It's just delayed. And sometimes it's actually good for our heart to be like, okay, what else is happening in my character right now that's going to sustain me for those things that I want, or those things that I thought were going to happen. So I just want to speak to that because I have a lot of friends in that place right now.
Yeah, Jenna Marie, I'm still hugging people, so if you need a hug,
I'll drive that hour to you ASAP.
Okay.
I want to speak to that too. So I have a lot of friends in New York. That is like the worst thing to hear.
Well, I'm stuck in my house, so it's not like people in like random strangers in the grocery store are hugging me, but I'm still hugging like my mother-in-law, and actually I haven't hugged my mother-in-law, but I'm still hugging my sister-in-law, and I still hug my coworkers because I'm in an office with them still, and I still come to work. So I'm like, you know what? I'm around little snotty kids all the time. I'm not sick, and so I don't know. I'm definitely not just walking around hugging strangers, but
I'm very
I
concerned.
can attest to that. I'm like not hugging anyone. I'm like really selective, but I did hug Gianna Marie. And I have a funny story because she had made a post. She had made a post about this place called Bougie Donuts. If you're in Austin, Texas, you have to go to this place. The donuts are amazing. And so she had made it like that they were doing this pop-up kind of donut truck thing. So me and my husband hop in the car, okay, because I'm pregnancy cravings. I'm like, I need these donuts specifically, So we hop in the car. We go to where their location is, and it's at this school. The line is so long of cars. We were probably sitting in the car for like an hour. We hopped on a business call because we were multitasking. So we were like, okay, we're on a business call, so we're good. So we're in the line. We finally get to where we're supposed to be, and there's cops there, and they're like, donut truck's gotta go. I'm like, I am pregnant. I'm getting these donuts. Like, I was like, where are you guys going? Can you go somewhere and pull over? I have the money. Let's just make this transaction happen. And so it was so funny. They're like, yeah, we're just going to try to figure out a place. So I like turn my car around. I'm doing like the New York 360, which is really like not a 360. It's just crazy. And I pull out and I literally follow this truck. I had to do a few different turns because I was trying to wait to see where they were going. And they pulled over into this residential neighborhood. And sure enough, I got my donuts. Gianna Marie was like, can you get me some donuts? So I got her a 6-pack. I drove all the way to Georgetown to her job, dropped off her donuts, gave her a hug. She made us these awesome coffees from 309 Coffee in Georgetown. Check her out there. She's an awesome barista. And so that was my wild quarantine donut story. But I got my donuts.
And that's how I got my hug. Yay! And my donuts.
And your
Congratulations. That's an awesome
I actually
day.
went to go track them down this morning, and they had already sold out. If you love me, get me donuts. That's the best way. And
I love donuts. I love donuts.
Last week was my birthday, and I went and got coffee from somewhere, and we're like, I had my mask on. The barista had their mask on. It was like 6 feet apart, like a couple of people at a time type of deal, carry out place. And while he was fixing my coffee, we were talking about like music or something. And I just like started crying because I realized it had been like over a month since I talked to a stranger. And so refreshed. I was like, wow, this song's really good. And it's like, oh yeah, let me check out this playlist for you. And I'm just like, so crazy.
I know. I talk to customers that come by. They come by and I'm like, so what are you doing today? Tell me everything. Please talk to me. And they're like telling me their whole day plan. I'm not an extrovert until it's like taken away. Oh yeah, for sure. They're like telling me every detail. But I've never made pizza dough so much in my life. That's one thing I've done, is make pizza dough from scratch almost every week. But in place of that, I do 100 burpees a day too. So, which is a stupid challenge I made myself do.
I actually feel the least productive I've ever felt in my entire life. Like I worked from home before this, and so my husband and I are both dealing with some health stuff, or just having to focus on our health. My husband needs like gallbladder surgery, and I'm having some energy stuff. And I actually have a family member with the virus, so we're being like pretty cautious. But like they're gonna be fine, FYI, totally fine. They're in New York. It's like they're gonna be fine. But like. I don't know. I thought it was just me, like just because we're in this whole deal right now as a family, just trying to figure out like, okay, maybe we just don't have the same capacity that we normally do. So like, even though honestly, because I work online, because we own a website company, we have a web design platform, we're actually busier, like really busy right now, but we don't have the same capacity at all. So I'm trying to have grace for myself right now. I feel very unproductive. But you know, I was on a Facebook group yesterday, and somebody else was talking about how, you know, they're in a similar industry. They were saying that they're not super busy, but they just don't feel very productive or motivated. And all these people were saying the same thing. Like, I think what's going on right now is like, you know, a lot of people are going through like collective trauma, right? There's that. And then like being home and not being able to energize yourself or get the luxury of a hug or get like, you know, do the things that you normally do. Like, I think people are starting to become a little deflated, or just not feeling like, I don't know, just not feeling as motivated as normal. So I don't know. I just want to say, like, for anyone who needs grace right now for themselves, give it to yourself. Like, you're not crazy if you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not getting anything done, I'm distracted. You know, obviously, like, don't be on the news all day, but like, but I think there's a lot of people out there who feel like you, even if you do work from home already, or even if you know, this isn't like a huge life change for you. I think a lot of people are kind of waning in motivation and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm waning in patience. I'm not waning in motivation. I've almost painted my entire downstairs house. We've done like a ton of home projects, and so I love that aspect, but I'm waning in patience. And I mean, I'm not going to give some of my political views on this platform, but I'm just like, oh, come on already. let's get on this. Anyway.
I know. It's interesting because like
hard being in Texas. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, well, no, I was just going to say it's funny because I'm actually being the most disciplined with my fitness goals than I was before quarantine, which is funny because the option of a gym or anything like that has been taken away. So I've been like better that way, but then I've also somehow become a gamer and I play Halo and Call of Duty with my husband all the time. And I'm like, let's play Halo, let's go. So, if you are
don't say
in the
that
place
too loud, Gianna Marie. Don't say that too loud, because then every other husband that watched the stream is going to be like, she plays video games, and I'm going to be like, don't even ask me.
So I don't play it by myself though. Like, that's the thing, is I'm like, I don't want to play Halo by myself, but like, as soon as my husband Jonathan gets home, I'm like, let's do this. Let's play Halo. Never foresaw
like,
that coming.
Bring me Mario Kart, and I would be all over that. I'm not sure about Halo, but I love me some old school Mario Kart.
Yeah.
That's true.
Nintendo
Can't go wrong
games.
with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nintendo,
absolutely.
yes.
Nintendo.
Even Kirby,
all the
super
way.
fun.
I don't know about you guys, but I kind of feel like my emotions have, like, I know that I was like, yeah, it's been super great, but the more I hear you guys talking and the more I like think about it, I'm like, my emotions seem to be playing this like catch up almost game with each other. Like at the beginning of quarantine, I was like, you know, super excited about the season of rest. And then a week in, I had like a mental breakdown. And then I was like, still make the most of this type thing. And then I actually turned 30. I had my birthday. I turned 30 like almost a month ago. And I was like, at the time I was like, oh, it's fine. Cause you know, in April, I'll just have my celebration then. And it's like April's past. And then I was like, oh, I'll just have it in May. And it's like, who the heck knows what's going to happen in May. And so I'm like, well, by the time June hits, like, I feel like I could cry too. Like by the time June hits, I'll almost
already there.
Like I was like, oh, I'm totally fine. Like everything's fine. And my day was great, but like the disappointment is starting to come like now. And so I don't know if people feel like that way about anything else, like expectations they had for the year. And it was like at the beginning of this, before we really knew that it was going to go on for freaking ever, where it was like baby showers, you know, like I have a lot of friends who are like, I don't know if I can have a baby shower. And that's like just such a bummer, you know, and you know, it's all okay. And we're going to celebrate whatever way we can for everyone. But I think it's okay to like be like, oh yeah, it's okay. And then if at some point a different emotion comes up, to be able to face that, because things are constantly changing. Like the thought of a hug, I'm like, Renee, I might literally drive to your house for a hug.
Yes.
No, I'm just kidding,
Come
but
over. I made cookies this morning.
Oh my god.
Come to my home.
Awesome.
Ooh,
yeah, I think it's like you have to talk about
in.
things. Like, oh, I do miss this, or I do miss that more than I really knew, or even like, more than I knew.
Acknowledged.
But don't you think that, like, I hear everyone saying, and the thing that keeps like running through my head as everyone's talking is, don't you think that there's even a greater level, like, and value that you're having for those things? Like, I don't know. Like, I think it's not that I've taken hugs for granted or like hanging out with people for granted, but it has given me even greater appreciation for those things in this time. Do you know what I mean? And so I've been trying to take these opportunities and these moments to reflect and have like, you know, some thoughtful moments of like, okay, yeah, this is happening. It might not be ideal. This is happening, and you know, it's painful or whatever it is, but stopping and like thinking about like the positive aspects of it, or like what is it that I'm learning in this time, or what's, you know what I mean? Like what's coming up in me that I can learn from and that I can grow in this time, so that when this passes, because it will pass, right? Like, how am I going to step into that new season? Am I going to come in more focused? Am I going to come in with even more gratitude? Am I going to come in, you know, like I just want to make sure that I'm not just in this time just allowing my thoughts to overtake me, consume me, but that I'm taking time to be like, okay, how can I come out on this side, on the other side, like even better for everyone else? How can I show up even better for everyone else? How can I show up for myself even better? Do you know what I mean?
I also think that this is a great time to heal as well. Like, you know, because it's one of those moments where everything that can be shaken is being shaken. And it really strips you down of like different things that we have built within our lives, whether it's excuses and whether it's confidence, false confidence in certain areas, like whatever it is, like we build stuff up in our lives that isn't always the healthiest, and we all do it. And this is a season where all of those things, I think, are being stripped away from us, and we're kind of being laid bare, you know, and it's like, well, what really matters right now in this season? And I think that it's sometimes a painful season, you know, to be able to have those things stripped away from you. But like Marquita said, I think that if we put the time into building our stuff on the stuff that is lasting and not shakeable, then we will come out of this like even stronger, whether that's emotionally, whether that's physically, you know, whatever it is. Like I do think stuff is coming up in this season, and I think it's okay that it is, but I think it's a time that we have the luxury where we don't have to just like shove it under the rug and get on with life, but we actually have time to sit and figure out what is happening and heal, and maybe create better thought patterns, maybe create better habits, like whatever it is, you know. We definitely have this season where we are being given time to heal and just rebuild in more strong and stable ways, I think.
Yeah, I
and
couldn't
building
agree more.
relationships too. Like you can, I mean, I've talked to my family more than I've talked to them in years at this time, you know, and in a way it's been, I mean, not like in a way, like it just has been really great and really refreshing to be like, wow, like I haven't really called my mom every other day in like years. And suddenly I'm like on the phone with my mom every other day. And our relationship is like, you know, going to a new level. And so my sister and my relatives, who, you know, we're doing like Zoom calls and stuff like that. And it's so nice to feel more present, than just like holidays. And, you know, it's like, wow, who are the people who really, really are important to me in my life? And like, how can I establish depth in those relationships too right now, you know?
Yeah, and you ask yourself,
and for
like,
those of you
why did we not do this before? Like, why did we not do the Zoom calls before?
I mean, did anyone
know
know what Zoom was like 3 weeks ago? I didn't. I'm just
I think I did from like the one time we did a Zoom like chat, and then other than that, I was like, I don't know what this is. Why can't we just FaceTime?
I know.
Well, anyone that's watching, if you guys can relate to any like difficulties or things that you're learning, please comment below. We want to hear and kind of just, even if there's advice or things that you're learning, we just kind of want to hear and share it with everyone. So don't forget to comment below. Hey, Rachel, thank you for joining us. And like, you know, you guys are part of this conversation. So I know you guys are, it's almost like you're the fly on the wall in this combo, but we'd love to hear from you as well. Yeah, I just like love what everyone is talking about. Like, I feel like, you know, even Jana, what you shared about your grandfather passing and dealing with grieving and not being able to fly over to be there and to be with your family. And, you know, that's really real. And Jennifer said that she's sorry for your loss and she sends her love to you all the way from New York. And I just love the honesty that everyone's bringing, because, you know, it's not always going to be rainbow Skittles and butter in this season. I think we've all kind of been pressed. But I love what you were sharing, Renee, as well. And just about the opportunity that we have to heal, to grow, and to come out of this even stronger. I think the difficult thing, I think, for that can be is actually sometimes being in silence, you know? Like, I think sometimes it could be hard to just still in the silence, because I think a lot of people were on this like rat race of busy, busy, busy. So when we have these moments of slow, we finally are hearing all of these thoughts. And so sometimes it's hard to shift through them. And so I would recommend like journaling. Like, I love journaling, like every morning, just carving out time, like 5 or 10 minutes, just to like get that race in your mind down on a piece of paper so that you can kind of have some clarity on what your actual thought patterns are, or what's coming up inside of you and how you're feeling, and like not holding back, you know, like just writing, even if it's stuff, like just giving yourself an opportunity to write that stuff out and be real so that you can kind of figure out how to go after, you know, those things.
Yeah, I would even suggest as well, I see a counselor. So I've seen a counselor before quarantine started, and we still meet, whether that's over the phone or actually it's like Zoom calls that we have. And I still meet with her over this quarantine period. And it's just such a great place to have a sounding board. Because for me, my husband actually is very gifted in the area of counseling. And I was finding myself going to him a lot and processing life stuff with him. And I'm like, oh, I don't need you to be my husband and my counselor. Like, you just be my husband. And I went out and I found a counselor, and it was just someone that I could speak to, and they could help me process stuff. And like, you don't have to do this alone. And also finding help in situations. Like, I go to a counselor because like on a daily basis, I have overwhelmed with my life and the responsibility that I have. And I need someone to help me just process my life. I need someone to give me tools on how to manage my choices sometimes, and just someone who, I have someone who's a bit older than me. They've got grown kids. They've been through this season. And so it's just been so life-giving and so helpful for me. And I wanted to just kind of encourage you, if you do have stuff, or even if you just need someone to process and talk with, like I couldn't ever say anything more. I couldn't encourage anyone more than to get a counselor. And I didn't ever think I needed one. But I'm like a 7 on the Enneagram, so I'm like never in pain and everything's always okay. And so when I finally did get one, I was able to really just sit in pain and have someone to process that with me. And it was so life-giving for me. And so, I don't know, I want to encourage you to, even Jen, like that was so life-giving for me. And I even feel like you having someone that you can process all of your emotions with, like, that's a real thing. And like, we need help. Like, yeah, we don't have to pretend that we can do it all alone and that we're all gifted to do it alone, because some people are gifted in that area like I'm not super gifted in the area of counseling. So I get help in that area.
So
I love that. I love counseling. It's a good reminder. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
Yep, we all need it. And remember, guys, even healthy people need counseling. So, as evidenced here, so totally encouraging you guys to do that if that is something that you need. If you have any other questions, comments, tell us how you are going through quarantine. What are you doing? What's it been like for you? And we'd love to know how we can encourage and support you during this time. So please, someone just said, I had a dream I could hug everyone. And guys, please receive this virtual hug that we are giving all of you right now. If you like this video, yay! Thanks so much for joining our virtual Zoom party, or no, it's not even Zoom, virtual party live here, Tuesday Home Edition. If you like this video, please like it. And if you are over on Facebook, please like our page. If you're over on YouTube, please hit that red subscribe button. And we are excited to join each other again and for us all to reunite again. But for now, thank you so much for joining us virtually. We hope you have a great week. Bye, guys.
Oh,